The pursuit of viral content can be thrilling, but sometimes it comes with devastating consequences. In this video, we explore 5 shocking influencer deaths closely linked to their content, where their passion for sharing experiences tragically coincided with moments that would end their lives, leaving fans stunned and heartbroken. Raphael Graven, better known by his online pseudonym Jean Pormanov, had built a reputation in France's streaming world that was unlike any other. At 46, he stood as one of the country's earliest and most notorious internet personalities, with an audience of hundreds of thousands drawn to the dangerous and degrading content that defined his broadcasts. His online life was one of extremes, shaped by a subculture where humiliation and pain were turned into entertainment for mass audiences. In mid-August 2025, he embarked on what would become his final broadcast, a 12-day marathon streamed on the platform Kick. The stream began, as so many of his others had, with Graven joined by his longtime collaborators, individuals known online as Naruto and Safine. Together, they had established themselves within trash streaming, a style of performance where creators pushed their bodies and dignity to the limit, often at the encouragement and financial prompting of their viewers. Donations poured in from audiences eager to escalate the spectacle, and with each euro raised, the demands grew more extreme. Over the 298-hour broadcast, Graven was subjected to physical violence, humiliations, and verbal harassment, all while deprived of adequate rest. But the tension and violence were part of the appeal, with more than 36,000 euros raised during the marathon. As the days wore on, Graven's physical state deteriorated. Toward the end of the broadcast, he was filmed lying on a mattress under a duvet, motionless and unresponsive while his partners attempted to wake him. Shortly afterward, the live stream abruptly ended. When police later arrived at the rented accommodation in Conties, a village north of Nice, they found him dead. Graven's death during a broadcast of such public degradation was described by Clara Chapaz, France's digital affairs minister, as absolute horror. Officials immediately opened an investigation, seizing equipment and video material to piece together the final hours of his life. Several individuals who had been present during the stream were interviewed by police. An autopsy, however, revealed findings that complicated the narrative. According to prosecutor Damien Martinelli, forensic doctors determined that Graven's death was not traumatic in origin and not related to the intervention of a third party. Instead, the likely causes were described as medical and toxicological. Graven had a history of cardiac issues and was receiving treatment for a thyroid condition, both of which could have played a role. The revelations did not lessen the shock. For years, reports had circulated that Graven was vulnerable to manipulation, described by acquaintances as kind and gullible, a man too willing to let others dictate his path. But some people closer to him in recent years defended his lifestyle, suggesting he had been living his best life in the south of France, surrounded by friends and opportunity. Public officials seized on the tragedy as a call to action. France's High Commissioner for Children described the events as horrifying. The case drew international attention to Kick, the Australian streaming service founded in 2022 and widely criticized for its lenient moderation policies. Kick suspended the accounts involved in Graven's final broadcast and announced a review of its practices. Fans mourned the passing of a man who had devoted years to cultivating an online persona that embraced excess and chaos. Fellow streamers and even celebrities tied financially to Kick offered condolences and, in some cases, financial support for his funeral. Meanwhile, old acquaintances remembered him as a friendly, big-hearted man who was ill-suited to the punishing extremes he adopted later in life. The investigation into his death remains ongoing, with authorities awaiting the results of toxicology tests and further examination of the video material seized from the broadcast. Regardless of the eventual medical determination, the circumstances that surrounded his passing have already left their mark. His death, witnessed by thousands in real time, has forced France and the broader online community to confront the darker sides of digital culture, where performance, profit, and suffering collide with fatal consequences. In late August 2025, Marian Izaguirre, a 23-year-old Mexican influencer, posted a video that would become her final glimpse into the world for millions of fans. Known online for her fashion and lifestyle content, Marian had cultivated a following of 4.5 million on TikTok and more than 300,000 on Instagram, sharing everything from dance trends to comedic skits. Her followers admired her energy, charm, and creativity, unaware that the video, featuring her in elaborate clown makeup with tears streaking her face, would foreshadow a tragic chain of events. The clip captioned, "All the promises of my love will go with you. Why are you leaving?" conveyed a haunting melancholy, leaving viewers both captivated and concerned. Days after posting the video, Marian disappeared. Her family, alarmed by her sudden absence, filed a missing person report, and authorities issued an ALBA alert, Mexico's emergency protocol for tracking missing women. On September 6, 2025, police located her at a hotel in Morelia, roughly 80 miles from Uruapan, the city where she had last been seen. Authorities noted that Marian had been staying alone in the hotel for several days, and her vehicle was also found at the location. Paramedics treated her at the scene and rushed her to a local hospital where she was placed in intensive care. At the time, it was reported that her health had severely deteriorated, leaving her unconscious and critically ill. Marian's last days appeared to be shaped by both isolation and distress. While she had been publicly presenting a glamorous life online, some reports suggest that her disappearance may have been linked to a violent situation at home, prompting her to leave Uruapan. In her final video, Marian's face, painted with white base makeup, accented by violet, red, and pink streaks, was ringed with glittering rhinestones and tiny heart details. Despite the playful artistry, her expression conveyed deep sorrow, amplified by her lip-syncing to Jeanette's song Por qué te vas, a melancholic track about lost love and abandonment. The haunting combination of her appearance and the video's caption created an unsettling impression, later interpreted as a digital farewell by her followers. Following her hospitalization, doctors determined that Marian had suffered severe injuries that left her brain dead. Despite intensive medical care, she passed away on September 12, 2025. The announcement of her death sent shockwaves through Mexico and beyond, with fans mourning the sudden loss of a young content creator whose work had connected with millions. Tributes poured in on social media, including messages from fellow creators who remembered her as kind-hearted and full of life, yet also aware of the personal struggles she may have been facing away from the public eye. In the wake of the tragedy, Marian's family chose to authorize the donation of her organs, including her corneas, kidneys, skin, and skeletal muscle, transforming part of the heartbreak into an opportunity to save and improve the lives of others. Meanwhile, authorities continue to investigate the circumstances surrounding her death, seeking clarity on both the events that led her to Morelia and the specific causes of the injuries that proved fatal. Marian Izaguirre's final video, shared with millions and now viewed in retrospect as eerily prophetic, shows the complex intersection of personal pain and public exposure, leaving a lasting impact on her followers and the wider community. While the investigation into her death is ongoing, the legacy of her creativity, combined with the tragedy of her final days, continues to resonate across the internet. In the summer of 2025, Stacey Turut and Matthew Yeomans, a Canadian couple known for their daring off-road content, were preparing for another adventure into the rugged wilderness they loved. Known online as Toyota World Runners, they had amassed more than 200,000 subscribers on YouTube and over 72,000 Instagram followers by documenting their extensive travels across North and South America. Their content celebrated ingenuity, from retrofitting vehicles to building what they called the world's first Land Cruiser Chinook in 100 days, a custom vehicle combining a Toyota Chinook camper and a Land Cruiser. Followers admired not only their technical skills, but their fearless exploration of remote landscapes, where challenges were part of the thrill. In the days leading up to the tragedy, Stacey and Matthew shared glimpses of their summer excursions, including a video of them testing trucks on rocky terrain, cooking over a campfire, and laughing amid the wilderness. Their smiles reflected both joy and the spirit of adventure that had defined their channel since its creation in February 2020. On July 31, 2025, the couple uploaded what would become their final video, showing off-roading activities, outdoor meals, and moments of relaxation in the Vancouver Island wilderness. Friends reported that Matthew had been making plans for future trips, demonstrating the pair's shared passion for exploration and content creation. Tragically, a week later, their adventure turned fatal. While navigating a forestry road near Trout Lake in British Columbia, their vehicle lost control on the rugged terrain. Investigators estimated that the truck plunged roughly 656 feet down a steep boulder field, rolling many times before coming to rest in a ravine. The combination of rocky terrain and the absence of surrounding forest in that stretch contributed to the severity of the crash. When rescuers from Caslow Search and Rescue arrived at the site, they faced a grueling uphill trek along the backcountry trail. Matthew had been ejected from the vehicle and was found with no vital signs, while Stacy, still conscious, had suffered a severe head injury and remained in the vehicle until it stopped. She was lifted by helicopter, transferred to an ambulance, and rushed to a local hospital, but she later succumbed to her injuries that night. The rescue team highlighted the dangers of filming in remote locations, noting that the isolated terrain, steep slopes, and rocky boulder fields left little margin for error. News of their deaths devastated family, friends, and followers. Stacy's mother described the loss as unimaginable heartache, noting that the couple had died in the mountains they loved so much. Tributes poured in from the global off-road and adventure community, honoring their creativity, passion, and the inseparable bond between them. Followers mourned the sudden end of two lives dedicated to exploration and content creation, celebrating both their adventures and their shared love. The couple's engagement in April 2024 during a South American road trip and their plans for future off-road expeditions became focal points in the remembrance of their life together. In the aftermath, their final video gained a new haunting significance, serving as a reminder of the risks that come with filming in extreme environments. Friends and fellow creators emphasized that while creating content outdoors can be rewarding, it can also carry serious dangers, especially in remote mountainous regions. Stacy and Matthew's legacy continues through their online content, a lasting testament to their love, adventurous spirit, and dedication to off-roading. Their story is a celebration of creativity and courage, but also a sobering reflection on the unpredictable hazards tied to pursuing a life of exploration on camera. Christopher A. White, an energetic and ambitious 18-year-old TikTok influencer, had spent years building a growing online presence under the username hi.imchris. Known for his dance videos, lip syncs, and motivational posts, he had amassed more than 104,000 followers and millions of likes, sharing his life with a wide audience eager to witness his humor, confidence, and creativity. Beyond social media, Christopher was a student athlete at Woodbridge High School, where he competed in football and wrestling, earning praise from coaches and peers alike for his energy, dedication, and respectful nature. By June 2025, he was attempting to turn his online popularity into a full-time endeavor, posting videos that combined entertainment with personal reflections, often offering uplifting or thought-provoking captions. Just hours before his death, Christopher had uploaded 2 videos from Pier Village in Long Branch, New Jersey, one featuring him lounging in a blue deck chair in pink swim trunks, accompanied by the cryptic message, "Stay away from people that ignore you until they need you." On June 12, 2025, Christopher spent the evening on the crowded beach, enjoying time with friends while filming content for his TikTok audience. The beach, part of the bustling Pier Village area, was filled with other visitors attending an outdoor music event, creating a vibrant public setting. In a tragic turn, shortly after posting his final videos, Christopher was struck by a single gunshot while relaxing on the sand. Emergency crews arrived around 8:58 p.m., but despite their immediate efforts, he was pronounced dead at the scene. The Monmouth County Prosecutor's Office later confirmed that the shooting was targeted, not random, although investigators have yet to determine a full motive. Friends have suggested that recent online disputes, including incidents during TikTok live streams in which Christopher had been antagonized by other teenagers, may have contributed to tensions that culminated in the attack. 2 suspects were quickly apprehended. One, a juvenile whose identity has not been released, faces multiple charges including murder, conspiracy, and unlawful possession of a weapon. The second, 18-year-old Dwayne Exilis, has been charged with second-degree conspiracy and unlawful possession of a handgun, along with several other weapons-related offenses. Christopher's close friend Jaden Roche suggested that the shooting stemmed from ongoing conflicts that had begun online, noting that the tensions were fueled by what he described as a mix of ego, jealousy, and disrespect. According to Roche, several teenagers had previously antagonized Christopher during TikTok live streams, calling him names and attempting to provoke him, which Christopher, known for his humility and composure, refused to tolerate. Roche believed that these interactions escalated over time, creating a hostile environment that ultimately drew the perpetrators to the beach on June 12. He emphasized that Christopher's openness in sharing his location and posting videos shortly before the attack inadvertently made him vulnerable, and that the attackers may have been motivated less by personal grievance and more by the desire to assert dominance or settle perceived slights. Authorities continued to investigate the circumstances surrounding the shooting. Christopher's death prompted an outpouring of grief from both his local community and his global audience. Friends and former coaches remembered him as disciplined, focused, and full of life. Joseph Lasala, Christopher's football coach, described him as respectful, focused, and a joy to coach, highlighting the stark contrast between his promise as a young athlete and the suddenness of his death. Fans who followed his TikTok account reacted to the chilling irony of his last posts, with comments reflecting on the poignancy of his words and the senselessness of the tragedy. One friend established a GoFundMe to cover funeral expenses, which quickly raised over $16,000, reflecting the support of those touched by his life. The incident has also drawn attention to the risks associated with sharing personal locations online, as Christopher's public posts helped the perpetrators locate him. His family and friends emphasized his positive influence, celebrating his achievements both on and off social media, while mourning the loss of a young life filled with potential. Christopher's legacy as a talented influencer, dedicated athlete, and beloved friend endures through the videos he created, the memories he left behind, and the impact he had on those who knew him. In the wake of his death, discussions about safety, online responsibility, and the vulnerability of young content creators continue, underscoring the fragile line between public presence and personal security. Andreas Tonelli, a daring and widely admired mountain biker, had long lived a life defined by adventure and audacity, captivating thousands of followers with his breathtaking exploits across the Dolomites and beyond. At 48, he had transformed a personal passion into a public vocation, inspiring fans through extreme sports videos that showcased both skill and courage. Known for his boundless energy and deep love for the mountains, Andreas was not only a professional athlete but also a guide, mentor, and ambassador for the outdoor brand Norröna, sharing his expertise with guests and followers alike. Those who knew him often spoke of his generosity, his infectious smile, and the joy he found in pursuing every challenge to its fullest. On the afternoon of July 15, 2025, Andreas posted a triumphant video to his social media accounts, sharing it with his 127,000 followers. The clip showed him standing atop Piz d'Uleda, a 2,905-meter or 9,531-foot summit in the Puys-Odel Nature Park of South Tyrol, Italy. He carried his bike across his shoulders and passed a summit cross, beaming at the camera with a proud smile. It was a final image of accomplishment, a celebration of the life he had chosen, and one of the last moments he shared online. Hours later, concern arose when Andreas failed to return from his solo descent through the steep and treacherous terrain of the Valunga area in Val Gardena. Authorities believe that during the descent, Andreas lost control on the narrow, exposed trail and plunged approximately 200 meters, around 650 feet, into a ravine. Emergency crews, alerted by a worried friend, deployed an Ayut Alpen helicopter, which scoured the rugged mountainside until locating his body shortly after midnight. The remote and dangerous conditions meant that recovery was delayed until daylight, by which time Andreas had already succumbed to his injuries. The Italian Carabinieri launched an investigation into the incident, though reports consistently described it as a tragic accident rather than the result of negligence or foul play. Andreas's life and career were defined by his fearless pursuit of challenges that few would dare to attempt. He had previously undertaken high-altitude feats, including bicycle ascents of some of the Andes' tallest peaks, and he often shared his exploits through striking video content. His Instagram included footage of him navigating razor-thin trails with sheer drops nearby, demonstrating both remarkable technical skill and a willingness to confront risk head-on. Beyond cycling, Andreas had a deep appreciation for nature and sustainability, living consciously and encouraging others to engage with the outdoors responsibly. The aftermath of his death reverberated through the mountain biking and adventure sports community. Norröna, his sponsor and collaborator, issued a heartfelt tribute, praising Andreas's dedication, warmth, and the inspiration he brought to others. Friends and colleagues remembered him as a loyal companion, mentor, and role model, recounting countless shared trips and adventures and highlighting his passion for life and generosity toward others. A close friend reflected on their plans for future projects, emphasizing the abruptness of the loss and the profound void left by Andreas's passing. Tributes from fans online recognized the influence he had on aspiring athletes and adventurers worldwide, many noting the haunting poignancy of his final video posted hours before the accident. Andreas Tonelli's death cut short the life of a man who had fully embraced the rewards and dangers of extreme sports.